The presentation is on Managed Service Solutions for IBM iSeries, and that will be presented today by Peter Lundblad. He's the IBM iService Specialist, and Tim Rowe, who's the VP of Services Development and Market Planning, both from our PCM Services organization. And my name is Teresa Bruner, and I'll be your host for today. And before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping issues so you're aware of. Over on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see me, Teresa Bruner, so if there's questions during the event, feel free to use your chat pane and Q&A pane. And at the end of the presentation, we'll also open this up for a thorough question and answer, so we'll have all of that stuff. We are also recording this, so the on-demand version will be available to you, and we'll make that link available to you in a few days once it's processed through. And we will also be giving out a prize at the end of the event today, the $75 gift card, so make sure you stay on until the end. I guess without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to Peter and to Tim.
Teresa, thank you very much, and appreciate everybody who's online today and participating. We're going to talk today about service offerings solutions around IBM's iSeries, and I'll do get started with that agenda in just a second. Teresa introduced Peter and I. Appreciate that. I'll give you a little bit of background. Peter and I were just talking before we were getting started here that I said, how in the world can I have more years in this than what Peter has, and he knows a lot more about it than I do. So this is Tim, and I started with the IBM iSeries back in June of '88 when the original B systems were announced back then, and I think 4 mega memory was pretty substantial back then for those boxes. In fact, they had performance problems with those. But so as I count back those years, I think, oh my gosh, it's been, what, almost 25 years that I've been working with this box and its evolution and where it's at. Prior to that with the 36 and the 38. And then Peter's been with the iSeries working with it for almost 17 years in many capacities, including certainly from a technology standpoint for configurations and system sizings and migrations and things like that. And then from a services perspective as well, running many platforms both here at PCM and prior to coming to PCM at IBM, he also did that there. So, and then we've also got an extended team, certainly here. Peter and I are just representing that team here today, but we've got the extended team of iSeries specialists that have been around for a very long time with the platform, and our core services team that provide either the professional services, the managed support services that we'll be talking about today. So we're excited about the platform. We recognize the value that it has in a customer's environment and the importance of it and its uniqueness that it brings to the market as well. So with that said, we're going to talk about managed service offerings today from an agenda standpoint. Let me get this up real simple. I'll spend about 5 to 10 minutes, just a quick overview of PCM. We've, as we've evolved and have made some significant organizational and company changes as we came into 2013. I'll highlight that. Our service offerings, there's 4 specific ones I'll speak to today, and then we'll intertwine some customer examples among those service offerings and examples of way other customers have leveraged our services. So that's the agenda for today. I anticipate 35 to 40 minutes, and then we'll open up for any discussions. So quick update on PCM. Used to be called PC Mall and was a conglomerate of other businesses in the market. Namely NSPI and SARCOM are 3 of the core businesses between PC Mall, NSPI, SARCOM that made up the services business. And the focus that PCM has had on services has been pretty significant over the last 5 years. And we've grown into a services organization that is about 1/3 of the company size in total today. And I'll talk about that in a little while. Our headquarters, pictured down below, is now based in El Segundo, California, just outside the Los Angeles airport location. We've got 3,000 people around the world, and about a $1.4 billion business, so pretty significant in both products and services across the United States, and as well as within many industries, including government, federal, state, and local government, and education, and then the core of it making up in the commercial business. From a services standpoint, we do have a national service presence, approximately 1,000 employees that are deployed in a number of different teams. And those teams are made up of our Integrated Operations Center that's actually located in Roswell, Georgia, just north of Atlanta. And that's where, pictured there actually is a picture of the inside of the IOC. That's where a lot of our 24/7 support and our 24/7 monitoring occurs out of. We also have our U.S.-based service desk that's located up in Columbus, Ohio, and mostly focus on desktop mobility devices up there. The two groups work together cohesively on the same support platforms and support end-to-end with clients. We also have customer teams that are located on location at customer sites that are an extension of the IOC or the service desk teams, and many times just providing on-location, hands-on teams for break fix and or where needed to have physical bodies located on site. We also have a dispatch team that can be dispatched out across the United States to handle on-site requirements. And then we have our professional services team. So the ones above, I just mentioned, really handle the ongoing support of technology and end users. And our professional services teams are mapped out to some specialties like iSeries, data center, around cloud, around applications and things like that. And their responsibility is to handle that front end of design and implementation of technology. And then they hand it over to the ongoing support of the teams I listed above. I show a couple pictures of some data center locations. We have in Georgia, I'll start, we have data center facilities located here in Georgia that we've had online for over 15 years. And we're building a new data center location up in Columbus, Ohio. That is in construction right now, to be opened up in the second quarter of 2014. Both those facilities not only provide data center ping power pop facility itself for locating your equipment, but also provides a foundation of where our cloud services are delivered from. And then we also have a co-location facility located out in California that we have a couple customers in that we provide services from, either our IOC or our service desk. Those data centers are SSAE 16 compliant and PCI DSS compliant. The SSAE 16 used to be SAS 70, and now the new term is the SSAE 16. We go through certification on those every year, and I'm proud to say that we've been doing that ever since we've had the data centers up and running here in Georgia. Peter and I are based here in Georgia and work with our team out of here and across the rest of the locations. We base our services on ITIL best practices, so we'll talk about our managed services a little bit more about that. And then from a technology standpoint, we have our configuration and warehouse centers, and then for break fix, our parts and inventory locations. We also have a briefing center in Los Angeles and a briefing center that will be built as part of our facilities going up in Columbus, Ohio. So from a services standpoint, that's kind of the breadth that we have, the team, and the core service tenants that we have to offer. A little bit deeper into the portfolio, and I won't be going through all this, but just to give you a high-level understanding, We segment our services into 3 core segments, from the beginning of technology life cycle with the procurement and logistics, to the implementation, the consulting on services, technologies, and the implementation of those, and then the full 24/7 managed support and hosting. And within each one of those are specialties you can see listed there. Today the focus is going to be on the iSeries while it's identified in the consulting and implementation services. It's one of many technologies that we also support through our managed service and hosting offerings. So today, focus is going to be on the iSeries part of it. And if I was to break it down, then what we're going to talk about today, it's really going to be 4 core offerings. And we stack the offerings because they assume, as the offerings go up in scale, they assume a lot of the offerings that are at the beginning of the list. But our managed services and support, we'll talk in depth on to begin with. We'll touch base on our iCloud services and partnership. Our specialty with IBM is around IBM iSeries and our cloud offerings. And we offer all kinds of cloud facilities as well on other technologies, but our focus today is on iCloud. From a high availability standpoint, we'll share with you some customer success stories that we have there and how they're using it. And one of our newest offerings and enhanced offerings is around the high availability services. We offer iCloud in a production and or a development or a test environment as well. So that's something we'll speak to. And those are all housed here today within the facilities in Georgia. And we have facilities that are geographically spread out as well if needed to provide both production and HA environment, all from PCM. And then I'll talk about one of our application specialties. We focus on infrastructure, servers and storage, network and data center, but we also have some expertise in some applications. On the iSeries is JDEdwards, and I'll share with you a little bit of a story there. So let's talk about managed services. We'll spend about 3 or 4 slides talking about what these support services are about. Our monitoring services, so out of the IOC here, we have a unified platform of tools that we can monitor the health and well-being and status of servers and storage and network, and manage systems and desktops all remotely and or in concert with the people that we might have on site. Those tool sets are, we call it our Unified Management Platform, and I'll share with you the Client Information Portal in just a second, are all inherent to the services. So you don't pay extra for the tool sets. They come as part of the service delivery, but they're also something that you can use to understand what's going on with your systems. And we give you access to those through our information portals where you can see performance reporting, and if you open up tickets, what the status of that ticket is, and or it's opening up the ticket itself. We have that capability. We call that our Unified Services Portal. It's our customer automation portal. This is a snapshot, a screenshot of that Unified Service Portal. This would be something that you would use to find out what's going on with your systems from a performance standpoint. If you wanted to open up a ticket, top left, to get technical support, you can open up incidents, you can request services, you can check the status of those services. And we handle all that either online through this portal, or you can always call the 1-800 service desk number and have a technician work with you directly on that. We also use this portal as a central location for providing standardized reports and or documents that are specific to delivering the service for you. We have a lot of clients who we have either run books on for specific applications or processes that they may have, and or unique aspects that we do for them for monitoring. And we store all that here to make sure that, that it's all locally, centrally located and available to you and our technicians for your support. So that's our information section of the portal. And then the systems themselves. You can go up and check the status of systems. You can see the alerts that are going on with your systems. You can break down into a dashboard view of your systems and see what's going on with maybe memory and processor and or performance of it. And then there's some custom performance reports that you can create on the fly using the system part of the dashboard here and find out for yourself what's going on with the system over a period of time, whether it's hours, days, or weeks or months. You can generate reports out of there. Now this is something new that we just introduced. Actually, we've had the Unified Tools platform for a number of years, and now we've got the Services Portal that just got introduced within the last 90 days, and we're continuing to add functionality to it, including the AS400 iSeries monitoring capabilities will be fed through the system dashboards, as well as the Intel and the networking and all the other infrastructure that we have. Separate from monitoring, but more proactive services. So if monitoring services are the reactive part of it, the managed services is more the proactive part of it. We have our staffs deployed in a number of different ways and trained on ITIL service processes. And our service catalog and our run books are all founded on ITIL processes. But it's to provide managed services 24/7, 365, taking care of whether it's day-to-day operations or just patch management. We have tiered support that I'll cover here in just a second that fits within your business, your skill sets, and to be able to provide that supplemental service that you either may not have anymore or that you may want to add because you've got other technologies that are coming on board. We've had a lot of clients, in fact, come on as part of our service offerings that have taken their teams and dispatched them to other technologies that they're bringing on board with new applications and ask us to go ahead and continue to handle their core infrastructure and I'll call legacy systems with our organization. So our managed support services provide that proactive support effort in all tracked and included within the services portal I shared with you earlier. From a tiered service standpoint, at a real high level, because we have a lot of iteratives of this, but this is our ITIL service stack on the left-hand side. It's our common way of breaking out the types of services that we deliver. And then we break those, we combine those into 3 tiers of services, identified here as essential, advanced, and premier services. And those 3 services, you can see on the right side what they will do based on the different service stack on the left side. You may have, and we have this with a number of clients as an example, some technology that's called the iSeries today, where we would provide maybe the advanced service level of offerings to the iSeries, but you may have plenty of skills around Intel services, and you just want essential services on your Intel or your network. And so we can combine services like that on the infrastructure that you have. We also have a roles and responsibilities that maps back to the ITIL processes and the different premier, advanced, and essential services that clearly articulate what your responsibility is and what our responsibility is. For the tasks identified here, as well as the common tasks that are unique to the iSeries. We've, over the years, we've continued to hone that customers find it very helpful and to clearly articulate what we're doing and what you're doing, who's primary, who's secondary, who's support, to ensure that everything does get covered well. So that's our ITIL service tiers and what we have to offer there. Let me speak to a customer example. And And the customers are not named, and Peter will cover customer examples as well, but they're not named for confidentiality reasons. We do have certainly plenty of customers that are referenceable, and if needed, we do make those contacts so that customers can talk to other customers about what we do for them. But I'll share with you a couple stories here, and Peter will as well. This one's specific to remote managed services. This customer is actually in the insurance business. They came to us the middle of last year, and they had the need to replace some retiring senior system administrators on their iSeries. They ran a couple, they still do, a couple 570 systems today. They're getting ready to replace those with some power systems later on this year. But they wanted to standardize on the monitoring and support. They had mixed tools as time evolved within their shop. As all of us are doing, they were looking for a way to reduce costs. And they needed these systems supported at the facilities that they were currently in. They didn't want to move them to a different data center. So they have one of the production systems runs at their facility, at their location, and then the target system running high availability mimics actually runs at another data center location up in, these folks are located in Tennessee. So as we worked through that with them, it was determined Premier Monitoring and Management Services was the best for them. That takes a lot of the day-to-day responsibilities that the senior administrators were doing before, that we take on responsibility for that then. We take on the monitoring management services responsibility end-to-end, I call it, from their production through their target HA, and in fact, we include the HA software as part of this service as well, and managing that for them. It's their software, their systems. They are a very active app development shop. All their code on their systems from the last 15 years has been modified heavily, so all of it is custom code, and it continues to be modified on a frequent basis. So our team participates with their app development team to ensure that we're changing the monitoring, that we're capturing any type of performance-related activities that they need to know about as they roll out new iteratives of the application. And then our team also works with them, and we're excited at the end of last year to actually do it for the first time with them, to run through their annual DR test and make sure it fails over, and to make sure that they can bring it up and continue business operations and then help fail that back over. And we had a successful test with that at the end of last year. If you were to talk to the client today and say, what is the value that PCM brought to the table? They would tell you at the bottom here, it lists out the iSeries expertise that our team brings, the integration with their team. So there's always a lot of concern when you outsource services that, hey, we're going to lose control. And we do our absolute best to make sure that we are integrated with the team that is there today, taking care of the other technologies or the applications in this standpoint in the services that we provide. And then from a cost savings standpoint, they were able to recognize about a 35% savings, both from not having to replace the folks that were retiring, as well as eliminating some of the tool sets that they had been paying for over the years, annual maintenance costs and things like that, because they were able to, we brought the tool sets to the table for them, so we were able to realize some good savings for them as a part of the service delivery. So that's a customer example that's related to managed services. Let me shift and talk about our cloud services a little bit. And cloud is an interesting topic, certainly, of the day. There isn't a week that goes by that we don't talk to customers about cloud services. Today we're talking about the iSeries. We also do cloud around Intel infrastructure, networking, and storage, as well as hosted some applications. But it is, as much as we'd like to see and as much as the industry would like to project, it's not really a one-size-fits-all as depicted here. Everybody's got some unique requirements for their applications, especially on the iSeries side, for development needs, for production needs, for DR requirements. So we built our cloud services around the 4 tenets that are listed below. So the ability to build out, help customers rapidly build this out and to consume the service as they need it. Often in the industry with the iSeries, it historically bought the systems with a average of 35 to 50% extra capacity than what you really needed in order to grow a couple years down the road. We provide it as a consumption service. So you only pay for what you use, and we can add additional resources to it as the needs grow. We also leverage what we call our best-in-class, depending on the requirements. And what I mean by that is you're always going to have physical assets that you're going to need housed somewhere, whether you keep them on site or you put them in one of our data centers. And then there's going to be times where a public cloud shared resource service makes sense, and then there's going to be times where private dedicated resources make sense. So our offerings have the capability to intermingle all of those, either private, traditional, or public type cloud services. We manage them with our dedicated team here that I shared with you earlier at our Integrated Operations Center and our data center teams to ensure the high level of security. Our data centers meet the highest level of security, both from a network as well as physical aspect, to mitigate risks that are associated with data centers and with networks today. And then you take advantage of that in a shared environment and able to save costs as a result of that. And then I talked about our ITIL service. We call it our SLA-based service delivery. All the services that we provide have SLAs associated with them, and we measure against that and report on that against our services portal. So let's talk about cloud services a little bit more. I'm going to let Peter do that in just a second with a customer example. But at the highest level, what does our iCloud consist of? It's either dedicated or shared systems. We offer up both. We break it down into real simple components, down at the highest level at the LPAR, and then down to the amount of CPW memory or storage that you need for your applications to run. We deploy it in a scale-out format on purpose. We've been doing the iSeries hosting for over 10 years. We've had the cloud version of this for over 5 years. And we started out in a scale-up scenario with one big box and putting all kinds of customers on it, but quickly came to a decision that in order to reduce risk and have customers spread out amongst systems for performance reasons as well as single point of loss, we decided to go scale out. So we have a farm of systems, both dedicated and shared, that we deploy at, and then it also allows us to keep up to date on technology a lot easier. We offer production, target, or development type systems. Some customers start in one place and go and expand to others. We have our infrastructure as a service with our vCloud, based on VMware, our vCloud Director Intel service offerings for those types of systems, as well as our SAN and our network that's fully managed and all fully redundant. And then we layer on top of that the tiered managed services that I talked about before with the essential, advanced, and outsources. So customers are using it in a couple different ways. I'm going to ask Peter to share with you an example of one of our customers that came on. Peter, when? Just in the last?
Yeah, first of the year.
First of the year. So if you can share a little bit about these guys, that'd be great.
Yeah, so this is a customer in the flooring business. They were splitting from a parent organization, and as part of that, needed to find a new infrastructure, and didn't have expertise around the iSeries as part of that split. So we found them, and we were able to, one, provide that expertise, and two, to quickly provision that as they had a short timeline to complete that split with the company. We provide them 2 iSeries environments, their production and their development, that they refresh from production periodically. And those were the main systems that need to be built, and then from there utilized our Wintel Cloud to add some of their other ancillary servers on the Wintel side, since they already had the infrastructure kind of developed here. We manage and monitor their systems 24/7 and work with them on a weekly basis to, at this point, it's pretty solid environment for, especially around and down when the split occurred, you know, the issues that lingered on for a while that we helped kind of smooth over, like ITIL, the system ITIL and all the programs it loaded. So it's a very clean running system now, and it's been a great customer experience for them and for us.
So these guys broke out, brand new business, breaking off of a larger corporation, didn't have a data center in place today.
Right.
Didn't want to invest in infrastructure and data center facilities. And so we helped them to eliminate all that upfront cost and get more into that cloud service consumption-based model that has worked out very well with them, and gives them the flexibility, because as they come up live on their production systems, they have found that some of the sizing that they were planning for, they needed more memory, they needed some more capacity, and we can easily add that to it, and then that just incrementally adds the monthly costs of the systems that they're using. So that's one of the customers. You want to talk a little bit more about our high availability services? Yeah.
So we've been really developing this over the past years due to the need in the industry. We've handled DR on the iSeries for many years, but really worked on the providing a environment where the disaster recovery target system can be located here, but in fact you could have production here and target on-premise. It doesn't, and we can also provide both. But something we've been focusing on is having the target system here where you didn't have it before and needed that additional capability, and provide the HA replication software to do that, provide the hardware environment, the application, and the monitoring management all in one monthly fee to get to that, hours versus days of a recovery. We monitor and manage it from this location, and we also do manage the role swaps and the failover testing periodically. We recommend to do one virtual and one actual role swap a year to be able to be familiar with it and work out any issues that there may be as part of it. And it's been a very successful program, and people find the value in it, the ability to be available within minutes and less than an hour versus recovering it in 2 to 3 days.
And as part of that type of service, again, it's a subscription type model service. It eliminates the upfront costs of a second system, the upfront costs of maintenance of the HA software. It's all included in one monthly type of subscription model. And the capabilities of the iSeries now allow us to be a lot more finite in the resources that we deploy, and as a result, being able to lower the costs as well, much more than what we used to be able to do even a year ago.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting.
And even where a customer may have the iSeries administration expertise on hand, they may not have the high availability expertise on hand. So that's where it's a perfect union with us handling that part and getting that availability.
How about another discussion about a customer here?
Yeah, so this is a customer, again, another new customer. They were looking at, one, upgrading their system from Power 6 to Power 7, and two, as part of that, whole phase is to looking for a target environment for their DR. They had traditional DR in the past and wanted to have a faster recovery time. Talked to them about doing our target system in the cloud and are providing the HA software and monitoring and management as part of that, and they're very interested in that. And also as part of that, you know, realized that there would be a pain point to migrate from their old system to their new system. So we also utilize our professional services to basically set up a replication from one to many and migrated what I call an active migration from their old production system to the new production system and minimize downtime, and it really was a seamless transition to the new system, and also allowed them to do some testing before going live on that system, again, without a lot of downtime. So we now today handle their target system and monitor and manage the replication between the two. And they also, as another step, wanted to have a data domain device to basically a virtual backup on their iSeries at their location, have the secondary device located in our data center so that they are replicating the virtual backups between the two data centers. So really a best-of-breed solution for them, and it really made sense for them, and we're looking forward to getting a virtual test done here in the next month.
There's another example too, Peter, and it's not on here, but we just brought up another client in the last 60 days that on our business continuity on the HA side of it, who had traditionally IBM's Quick Ship program,
right,
and wasn't able really to get that confidence level of being able to recover and have all those processes in place. We got them up on board within, give me a time frame, was it 90 days?
No, it was about 30 days.
About 30 days, got them up and running on the business continuity, and not just replicating end-to-end, but also ran through a physical test with them. And that was the first time in many years they had actually been able to do a test. It was successful. They were excited about it. They're very pleased with this service right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and saw more, you know, it was a little more expensive than their previous solution, but, you know, the value that they saw to be able to recover, again, in you know, less than an hour than in many days, and, you know, really made sense to the business.
So let me shift real quick, and we're almost done here. But let's shift real quick to JDEdwards. This was at the top of that stack I shared with you at the beginning. Well, we've been talking a lot about infrastructure, cloud, and high availability. This is one of our application specialties. We have on staff folks that are certainly iSeries skilled, but also have CNC engineering type of expertise. And I don't know if anybody on the phone today has JDEdwards or not. Let me just spend 2 minutes on it. So certainly probably familiar with it. ERP system on the AS400 has been around for a long time, expanded to other platforms, and we support multiple platforms. Talking specifically about the iSeries today, we provide a number of JDEdwards platforms for clients that we provide either from the full cloud infrastructure all the way out to the 24/7 support services for them. They provide the applications, the JDEdwards applications. Up until just recently, up until this year, we've always had to have clients provide the applications. Now, with our partnership with Oracle, we're also able to provide the application side of it. But anyway, so being able to do everything from application maintenance to promotions of new releases to just CNC type of work, we can also provide that on the JDEdwards. An example of this, one more time here, and then we'll wrap up, is with this client here who actually came to us within the last year, had multiple ERP systems through growth of acquisition. They were looking for a provider, not just for JDEdwards, not just for iSeries or for data center hosting, but that can handle end-to-end, and that's where we were able to help them out quite a bit. So they looked to us for the full platform, from iSeries to Intel storage and network to handle the ancillary applications that are come along with JDEdwards. We provide the CNC services and support for them and that application. And then our operations team manages and monitors both the application as well as the systems to make sure they're continually up and running. So that's another pretty exciting story. And again, kind of a value delivered statement. If you were to talk to them, it was another rapid deployment as they were trying to get all those businesses consolidated and being able to be a single source provider for them. So that's another fun story. So as we've talked about a lot of things today, specifically the iSeries, managed services, cloud, and data center. A lot of clients always ask kind of some specific numbers. You know, what do you guys do here and there? And that's kind of a statistics chart here, just real quick. You know, from an IBM iSeries standpoint, today we monitor over 141 LPARs, and that continues to grow. This has turned out to be a pretty hot spot this year for us and continues to expand. From an infrastructure standpoint, we monitor over 3,000 systems across our customers' environments. I shared with you our team. I shared with you a little bit about data center. The one thing I didn't talk about was how long we've been doing this for. I said a little bit about data center, but as a business, PCM has been in business for over 25 years. In various capacities, certainly, and in an evolutionary phase has evolved into the services business. But the services that we've been talking about have been around for over 25 years at various levels. So we have a lot of experience, a great team that's involved in delivering these services, and we look forward to the opportunity of talking to you about them. With that, Teresa, let me switch over back to you. We've got about a little over 15 minutes left on the hour. If you can open up and see if there's any questions. And before we do that, I also have Peter's contact information here. If you've got questions, you can contact him directly, and or on the phone with us is as well Si-eun. And Enno is one of our account managers out on the West Coast, part of our El Segundo office out there. And he's also familiar with our services and a point of contact